Morning people. Today's walk is going to be the Great End Glaramara route. Around 12 miles, 8 to 10 hours and 5 Wainwrights. We checked the weather reports last night and Emma said 80% chance cloud-free summits and 15 to 30 mile an hour winds. As you can see in front, not looking great this morning. Looks like it might clear, hopefully. We've just got here for sunrise, about 7:30, and quite packed to be fair. We've been here a few times in the summer and this river is usually dried out and the waterfall up there is never running that fast. And with it being November, there's a lot of rain, so it's starting to come down. Never like this in the summer. I'm just hoping this wind dies down because it feels like it's picking up now. Starting to clear up in the distance, just hoping it does over here. Looks alright over there. Still not great here, but it's only early. So when we were researching the route last night, a lot of people who've done this route before us went behind there. The Stuart Marshall book had said to a left at a little stream and basically up the side of the mountain to the first Wainwright, but other people had said go past Seatgwaite Town and back round, loop back round to the Wainwright. Where people have cut up the side of the mountain, I said on a previous video a couple of weeks back that I wouldn't really advise doing that. On another note, Wainwright had actually said you can cut up the side even though there's no path. With the weather not being great, we were looking at it then and you couldn't even see this direct path up there that people are talking about. We're just going to loop back by Seatgwaite Town and use the Ordnance Survey paths instead. Probably adds a bit of mileage on, but it's no problem. Seatgwaite Town. Fellow wild camping there in his nice yellow bright top. That cloud doesn't look like it wants to clear. So we're not far off Sprinkling Town, just up over here, but as you can see, visibility is non-existent. Can't imagine Great End to be clear later on with it being so high. We're just above Seathwaite there and the cloud just come in then while we were walking. But what you do? So we're actually now at Sprinkling Town. As you can see, you can't see anything. Visibility is shocking. I haven't been out many times in worse visibility than this. It's mad because I know what that looks like. I've been here loads of times and can't even tell. You wouldn't even know that was Sprinkling Town unless you can see it on your GPS. But we're heading to the left of the town over here to Seathwaite Fell. Very quiet. You can see how bad this ground is. Just had a heavy slip then, back there. Hurt myself. Knees hurting a bit. It was awful this. Even just trying to stay on the path, because there's no visibility, you're having to just, it's not very clear. literally after Dom's just laughed at me for slipping over, she just went face first and went further than me, and look at that, cleared for a few seconds.
See?
Wow, great. Both of us are writ off nearly.
Coming back in.
That was quite funny, to be fair. I was literally talking and she nearly killed herself. That's how bad this ground is round this Seathwaite fell, look at it. Awful. So you can just see a guy on the summit of Seathwaite fell, and he's come from where we could have come from this morning. Still don't know where that path was, but goes to show there's actually a path over there somewhere. You can see on the GPS there, there's no path listed coming up, although there must be somewhere. On a mate. Yeah, you can see all the way down to where we're parked. Seathwaite fell 601 metres, so there's actually two tops to this, and Wainwright had said a lot of people come here rather than the other one, but the other one over there is bigger. As you can see, the guy who was here then, he's come up this way, and that's where we come from this morning, down there. So there must have been a route up here, unless, as Wainwright said, you can just come directly up the side, but a lot of people seem to do that. First one of the day anyway. I might try and get the south top in a minute on the way back, because we've got to go past it. So you can see this path isn't listed, and the higher top's just up there. You can see the guy in the distance just being up there. Wainwright had said the one behind us, people always go to that summit, but he said this is the higher one, the proper one. It's just some of the stuff in the books are a bit strange. I don't know why they just didn't say this is the official, but we're just heading up to it now anyway. On a path that doesn't exist on the GPS. So this is the official summit of Seathwaite Fell, 632 metres. As I said before, the first one we went to, a lot of people say that's the summit, but Wainwright said this is the true, as it's higher. But yeah, so there's a south and a north summit, but at least we've done both. You know what I'm like, I've got to get them both in. Gonna head over to Great End now, but we're gonna take the safer path with this weather being so bad. We're gonna take the path that we know. People have suggested going through the gully, but not gonna bother. So we're heading over in that direction to Great End now. Wind's picking up and it's freezing, but hopefully, as I keep saying, it clears. That's nice and clear, that water. This would be a great little wild camp if it wasn't so boggy. In a little bowl, the wind stars down here. But as you can see, that's not great. So we're back at Sprinkling Town, although you can't see anything. Normally packed all the time, this, with wild campers. Not today. You can see a bit of a clearance, actually a few people over there. Oh, there's actually people there in a tent, see, in the background. People starting to appear. There is people actually here, yeah. So you can ascend Great End up this way, but we're not bothering with that way. I'll give that a miss. So I do know you can head up there to Great End, which we're below, via a gully, but the gully in this weather is not inviting, mate. You cannot see. So this is Seatgwaite, Great End's up there, both fells over there. It's just a split in the middle. We were actually up here the other week on a walk, and we were just saying we've actually summited Great End a couple of times before, but we've got to get it in, haven't we? Got to be greedy. We're just getting onto the top of Great End now, and I can't see a thing still, obviously. Great End, 910 metres. As you can see, no views. You've got your little summit shelter here, but that's your second summit of the day. One of the biggest in the lakes, this, but weather's terrible. We're just gonna grab some food now and eat it on the way back. Can't sit here for too long, but there's 2 down. Wind's absolutely terrible. It's picked up here. We're exposed though, so we're gonna head straight down now to our 3rd Wainwright, just back to where we come from. There's your shelter. You can see there's another shelter. 2 on here. So we're descending back where we came from. Starting to see people coming up. So we've just come up to Seatgwaite and we're heading over to Alan Crags now. It says there's a shelter down here, so we're gonna just jump in that for 10 minutes and get some food. We're about halfway through the walk and I can't see this clearing at this point. It's not great, but we've seen loads of people heading up towards Scarfell Pike, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Don't always get the weather right. Getting out that wind. You don't wear shorts in this weather. Literally couldn't stop shaking then after having that food at the shelter. Lucky I've got pants and gloves. Not good. While I'm getting dressed, I'm getting a bit of a view. Alan Crags summit's right there as well. Might pass over if we're lucky. I can't see it though.
It's blowing somewhere.
I can't see it, it's actually clearing up. I feel okay now, the shiver's gone because I've got my pants on. I always bring spare clothes. That stop-off's done us a favour here, putting the pants on. The summit's clear now, but the clouds chasing us. I feel better now though. I couldn't stop shaking then. Wasn't a good feeling if I'm honest. Started to feel a bit sick, but I'm fine now. Alan Crags, 785 metres. You got a cairn here and a cairn there, so take your choice. Mate, we've dodged the weather here for 5 minutes, look at that. Looks alright, doesn't it? Let's have a look over this side. Oh mate, boss. It was worth having a little bit of food and changing my clothes then. Mate, that's amazing. Buzzing. I think this is the summit personally. Looks a bit higher when you stand over there. You see Sprinkling Tarn there in the background. Mate, what a view. And there's where we was this morning. There's your first Wainwright over there. In the distance, there's the two cairns you can see. The south and the north summits. Ah, boss mate. Belter made up, but we're going to head to the next one now, the fourth of the day. Glaramara. Ah, it looks boss that, doesn't it? That's a hairy sheep, that one. Looks very boggy around here. So you can see we've descended quite a bit. Glaramara in the background looks quite high. It was around the same height as Allen Crags, so we must be dropping off quite a bit. Looks quite intimidating. I think it's the shadows actually. Look at that cloud. Whoa, that looks mad, that cloud, doesn't it? Looks like a mountain. You can see the Langdales coming into view. Pycho stickle there, sticking up. Looks class. You can just see over this side. Great gable just in the clouds. Base brown. Too far off Glaramara, just up over there, that section behind there. The rock is so slippy in this weather, it's not great, and it's very wet this area, as you can probably tell there. It's quite rocky going up to Glaramara. The path doesn't, it's quite hard to see the path, so I'm just skirting around it. Found my own way across. We've got back on the path, but it's not very clear, but it's heading in the right direction nearly on the summit, so just bear that in mind if you're up here. So we're just approaching the summit. Not that I can see it, but it's in that general direction somewhere there. Read in the Wainwright book, he said the summit was just behind or in front of a tarn, a little tarn, so there's your, that must be a tarn. Glaramara, 783 metres. Wind's back. Yeah, Wainwright said it was rocky up here. Not kidding. No, nothing in sight. So we're just going to head over to the last one, which is Rosthwaite Fell. And a lot of people who'd done the route. I checked the GPX files last night, and a lot of people have went right, basically not far off Glaramara. There's no path listed there, but even Wainwright had said you can cut across the grass basically, and you can get over to it. Otherwise, you've got to go all the way down and drop about 400 metres to come back on ourselves. And I did wonder why people were doing that, but that must be why. So we're gonna try that route first and see how we get on. If not, we'll have to just return and loop around, but we'll see in a minute how bad it is. It's just not great with this, with the visibility being so bad. So as you can see here, the path leading off's terrible, really slippy, but we're just gonna take our time and head down. Yep. There's your path down off Glaramara. Gotta be honest with you, climbing doesn't bother me, but in wet it does. And there's just moss everywhere and my boots are sliding. And not the best. Not my favourite thing I've ever done. Do you enjoy it? So this is where he suggested turning right. And it is reminiscent of people walking around here. And that's an actual summit up there called Conehead. But Wainwright said it was grassy, but it does look like people have walked it, so it must be. As you can see, this is absolutely awful up here. It drops off like big time, and there's no paths. You can get down there though. This being one of those walks, man. I've slipped more times on this than I ever have done, like my whole time walking for years. I must have fell over about 6 times and my knees goosed. That's what we're coming down there. But even I've just read the Stuart Marshall book, he said you can head over here, and Wainwright has also said it, but it's not listed as a path. Gonna have to go through that to get over there, but so be it. Good job you went right. Nasty that, innit? Not great, like. So luckily I've got a bit of a view now, so I've got perspective. Although this is a bit of a mad one, this is actually getting us to where we need to be over there. Otherwise we'd have to go all the way down and back up. I sort of trusted Wainwright's judgment out of the book, but it looks like it's going to get us there. It's just, you've got to make your own way down. So that's where we made our way down through here, and if you can see, this actually looks like a bit of a path now, even though it's still not listed as a path. It hasn't been great, but it's worked when early at the last fell. So I've just read then that there's 2 summits on here. Rosthwaite Cam there, he said you've got to climb up to it, and then BessyBoot, which is towards the end. But I'm just going to check this out now. And you can see now it's clear where we came from before. Wainwright had basically said in the book he wouldn't do it in mist as it's dangerous and that marshland's confusing. But we're over here, and to be honest it was sketchy in the mist. But we're up here and I'm going to try and tackle this Rosthwaite Cam now. See how it is. But he said everyone uses BessyBoot as the summit, which is smaller. So I've got to go for this. Rosthwaite Cam. He said it was a bit dodgy to climb up, similar to the Lion and the Lamb, without the lamb, but I'm going for it. Rosthwaite Cam, 612 metres. This the one he said's a bit of a climb to get up to. He says this is the highest summit, but everyone goes to the next one further along. But you know me, I had to come up here. And you got some views up here, man, sweet. Looks class. But there's Dom, she didn't fancy coming up here. So I'm gonna head back. You can just see it's 10 person on that hill there. The yellow one, what's going on here, man? That's heavy, that. Now I've got to get myself down. This is a bit too windy to be up here. And the other summit's actually over there in the distance. The one we're going to, BessyBoot it's called. People have to do that because obviously that's a bit of a sketchy climb up there. And I can't imagine people who can't climb up stuff are going to go up that. So I think that's why there's two summit cairns, but we're going to go to the other one anyway. Just below BessyBoot or Rosthwaite Fell. And there's the final one. Woo. Yes. Rosthwaite Fell or BessyBoot, 540 metres. Last Wainwright of the day, 5 bagged, and can't complain with this ending. Over the weather, man. It's windy, but nice sun. Nice bit of sun, man. Good little end to the day. You can see Skiddaw and everything over there. How much it clears up. Class, man. Been a mad one, but been a good day as well. Yeah, that's us done. We're gonna head down now as it's the sun's dropping. Get back to the car. We've got about an hour and a half left, so see how it plays out. So we've got to head off over there to the right of the town. Sun's just dipping behind the mountains, just getting down in time before it goes dark. So getting back to road level's a bit of an awkward one. Apparently we're on an ordnance survey path, you can't see it. So we're thinking about heading towards the river and then skipping across, as there's a path right down there I can see. We've got a path on this side, but it goes all the way over there where the RIC van is and back, so we need to be down there where the people are, otherwise we'll be walking there for miles. With it getting dark, we're just gonna have to take the risk here, get across this river. It's running fast, but there might be a point we can get across. It looks passable, so we're just gonna have to do it. It's getting too dark. We've got head torches and stuff, but rather not have to get them out if we don't need to, so it's a bit of a detour. You can just see two people rock climbing there in the dark, being shouting. I think they were talking, should I? Hope they don't need help. Oh no, they look fine. I'm just about to hit the river. Slipped again and bent my walking pole in half, and I've tried straightening out and won't even go back into place. Had a bad day on the falls here today. Jumping across the river's probably shaved half an hour off the time to get back. That's put us on a better path towards the car. Wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? Bit sketchy like, but the poles helped. Good little spot there. Yeah, so basically just noticed we're running adjacent to the roads we came down, and we basically walked back to the farm we passed it this morning, back on ourselves. Reckons about 40 minutes left, about 1.5 miles, probably be less than that I think. At least got down before it got pitch black anyway. Not looking forward to the drive home, but so be it. Been a good day, and mad thing is, look how clear it is now.
Right people, the Great End Glaramara route, let's get to it. So your parking couldn't be more simpler. On your maps just search Seathwaite, and there's a farm at the end of this road, Seathwaite Pass. And the farm actually has a campsite. As you can see, the cars here. But down the road, plenty of parking. As you can see, loads. Basically the whole road you can park on. Just nice and simple. I've parked here quite a few times in the past, and I've actually camped in my car there as well, in the lay-by. As long as you're not obstructing the farmer from bringing his tractor out, it's no bother. What I would say, this is a very popular spot for Scarfell Pike, as you can ascend it from Seathwaite, so this is always busy on weekends. So if you can, get there as early as possible. But as you can see from the view above, there's plenty all the way down. It runs for ages, the road, so you're probably getting parking. How far it goes. Obviously, closer to the farm, the better, but if you get there late on the weekend, you can park all the way down the road. You just have to put a bit of mileage on to walk down from your car. And that's it, nice and easy on this one. So here's the route. As you can see, started in Seathwaite, just by the farm, a bit down the road, and as I said, campsite. And you've also got toilets here, which is handy. It's quite a long drive for us, so nice to have a little toilet break if you need one before you head off into the hills. So the first section up to Stockley Bridge, great. Nice paths, nice and straightforward. Can't really go wrong. And you hit Stockley Bridge and you cross over there. As I mentioned in the video, people had said you could go from around this area by the stream and go straight up to Seathwaite Fell, the first one. But obviously on the ordered survey here, there's no listed path. Let's check the outdoor active version. Again, outdoor active don't list the path either, but in the Wainwright book he had mentioned you can go that way. And I did see a guy on the summer who come that way. With the weather being bad, we decided to go round Seathwaite Town. And yeah, you just make your way along the river. Just after Seathwaite Town, we turned up to Sprinkling Town, as you can see here. And then you pass Sprinkling Town and loop back on yourself to the first one. As I mentioned, there was 2 fells on this one. Wainwright had said, most people say this is the main fell, the 601 metres. But he said Great Slack, which is the higher part of the fell, that is the true summit. So obviously you can see I went to both, as I always have to. It's worth checking both out if you've got good weather before you head up to Great End. So as I said, you can head up to Great End other ways. There's actually a gully. This is it, Brown Band. You can see you can head up that path straight up directly to it. But with that weather, we weren't taking a risk. It was too misty. And we've already been up Great End a couple of times, so we knew a route up there, which was via this way, past Esk House. Even in bad weather, we knew where we were going. And yeah, we passed Esk House, as I was saying, and nice and easy route up to the summit, that fairly steep. As you know, Great End's 910 metres, so it's one of the biggest mountains in the lakes. And if you get Great End on a good day, it's a brilliant fell. The views are amazing. You can see all the way into Seathwaite and all around you. You can even see Scarfell Pike in the background. Just an amazing mountain. I have been on there on a clear day when I took my mum and dad up there a few years back. Brilliant fell, mate. Nothing to see again when we went up there. And you head back on yourself towards Allen Crags. And as you would have seen, I took a little break in the shelter. Nice break out the weather, but I was shivering for some weird reason after eating. My body must have cooled down and I couldn't stop shaking for some strange reason. And obviously I had to put some clothes on. As I was getting dressed, we got a break in the weather, so it was a good job we had the food and I got dressed. And that's my advice, to always take spare clothes with you. I do wear shorts a lot because I get quite hot, but it's always worth having spares. When we got up to Allen Crags, you would have seen a nice break in the weather and we got some fantastic views. It was quite good up there, I enjoyed that, and I'd love to do it on a clear day. You could see over to Sprinkling Town in the distance, and Allen Crags had 2 cairns, but you take your pick which you think's the highest, but the next to each other, so you can go to both before you head to Glaramara. This area going over, some parts were quite boggy. As you can see, there's a lot of water on the way over, and before you get to Glaramara, you could see we'd lost the path a few times, so we were zigzagging. This area is quite rocky, as you'd expect, because Glaramara is just a big rock, basically. It'd have been great in summer, that, just with the rocks being wet and that, it was quite slippy, and we did slip over a few times, but we got there in the end. And Glaramara, as you would have seen, weather was awful when we got up there, quite windy. I will return to Glaramara, as I can imagine the views would have been fantastic off there. It's quite a high fell at 783 metres. The cairn was perched on a load of rocks. Yeah, it would have been a good fell, that, but I will return in the future. Coming off was really sketchy. The rock was absolutely soaked with it being misty, and if you fall, mate, you're going to hurt yourself. So we had to take our time climbing down there. I ended up throwing my walking pole down the rocks you would have seen in the video, because it was sort of impeding me getting down. We had to have foot and hand holds all the way down there. It's quite dangerous with it being mossy and wet. And this is the section where Combe Head and Combe Door is, where Wainwright had said you can go that way, even though it's not a listed path, over to Rosthwaite fell. We looked at one route and it basically asked us to go left here down the path and come back on ourselves later on up. With it getting dark early, that would have never worked anyway, so it was a good job we actually went the grassy route. But yeah, Combe Head and Combe Door are actually outlying fells, I think. So although the paths aren't listed, you can see reminiscence of people walking over there. Just be careful going over them ways. Wainwright had said in the book, which I actually read later on, that in mist it's dangerous, and obviously we done it in mist. And coming off there, mate, you could make a mistake and fall off the sharp. Just take your time if the weather's not great, and bear in mind it's very, very wet. And as I say, you can see a lot of reminiscence of water, not great that terrain. You're just walking through bogs and grass. So Rosthwaite fell. You've got Rosthwaite Cam and BessyBoot. Rosthwaite Cam's the higher part of the fell, at 612 metres. Wainwright had said it was a bit of a climb. For me, it was fairly simple. I can imagine some people don't fancy stuff like that. It's up to you. You can go to either or, but Wainwright had said that is the highest point. So it is sort of the true summit, but people go to BessyBoot anyway. I always have to go to the highest point. That's just what I like doing. So yeah, you can see where I was on the summit of both there. Still a bit grassy at this point, but you can see paths actually appear from Rosthwaite Cam, and then you pass a little time before you get to BessyBoot. So whichever one you want to count as Rosthwaite fell, it's up to you. The weather had cleared at that point, so we got some good views there. And yeah, coming down, I kept losing the path and we were zigzagging again, but we did get to there, and as I did say, we were looking on the map, and you can see here, if I'd have actually stayed on the path on this side, I'd have had to have went back to the road to save some time. I skipped to cross the river, and luckily we found a part where it weren't too deep, so it was easy to get across, just to take some time off as it was going quite dark. And yeah, you can see it loops round, and then we had a bit of a walk down the back of the farm adjacent to the road we were on, and that took us about 40 minutes. Quite boggy in parts and wet, but yeah, got us there in the end. And you just return back to the farm and back to your parking. And there's the route zoomed out. It is basically a big circular, but you can do it in different ways, but do your research beforehand. But that was fine with me, the way we done it. I was happy the way it turned out. And the stats for the day, so it ends up being 14.3 miles. You can see we set off at 7:45 and returned just on 5 o'clock. Time spent moving 6 hours 55. Ends up taking us 9 hours and 14 minutes. Just bear that in mind if you're doing in winter. Make sure you take your head torch. It can take a while. The Wainwright in 36 Walks website had suggested it was 12.3 mile. We ended up doing 2 more and 8 to 10 hours, which was right. All in all, great walk, some brilliant fells on it. And I'd love to do it again, to be fair. As always, people, anything relevant will be linked in the description below. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.